Hey guys, it's Dani. I'm here. It is time to take care of my Monstera. I have postponed this for a while because I'm slightly nervous to unpot this. It's not an orchid, this plant, but it is time. Heat has started in my area and I have a lot of dehydration issues. This pot became too tiny for it. I need to stake it. Look at it. This is a climbing plant. Now it's leaning, so definitely needs a stake. And furthermore, thrips have started to make an appearance as well since it got hot. So I do see quite a lot of damage that I need to be on top of. So I need to move its location. I need to repot it, stake it, do all of that nice stuff that this plant needs. And I decided to take you guys along for the adventure. And yeah, let's see how this goes, because this is certainly much bigger than an orchid. Look at this. This is the newest leaf. It didn't actually grow to its full length, and already I have some thrips and some issues. But do you see? Yet again, half moon. This is such a good Monstera. Good girl. But it needs love and attention right now. So before we start, I'm getting geared up. Don't forget to give this video a like if you end up enjoying it. Why not subscribe? It is free. And I post all sorts of plant-related content 3 times a week. But if you're feeling extra about it, why not? Do consider becoming a member, getting merch, using the affiliate links in the description, or using the super thanks option down below my videos. Right, so with that said, let me show you something that I tried to do in the past and I gave up because again I got too nervous when I saw how beautiful this plant is. Look at this. Do you see? I tried to propagate it, and I tried to do so by using the layering technique. Now, I do have a very old video with an orchid on which I used the layering technique and it worked beautiful. You can definitely use it on stem plants, but hey, on some orchids as well, if you want to root them before cutting the stem. I find it to be a great way to propagate many plants, and I wanted to do this for this particular plant because the lower side did not look so healthy, didn't look so good, and I kind of wanted to rejuvenate it, but then I got cold feet. So I need to remove this first and foremost. I know there might be some roots here, but yeah, I didn't water this moss in a long time. Oh, did I tell you? Visit the description if you want to see that video with the orchid and this technique. It's a Paphiopedilum orchid. But basically, you just tie some sphagnum moss around a node which can create roots, and I used just a bag here, and you keep it moist, and practically that node starts to produce roots, but you're not actually cutting any stems, so the plant is still attached to the root ball. It does not get dehydrated, but it produces roots. And then when you have roots at that node, you can remove this, as I'm doing now, and then cut the stem, seal off the stem, and then plant the plant directly. All right, so indeed we do have some roots, which I'm guessing you cannot see. There are some roots, not a whole lot of them. Anyway, I think this moss will be much easier to remove once I wet it, which I will. I need to shower this plant, and I'll do so outside. For now, though, I just wanted to remove this bag. Okay, so that's about it for now. And I also wanted to remove some of the dried leaves. And yeah, that's okay for now. All right, here we go. It is time to unpot the plant. Now, this was and still is a self-watering pot, but I do believe it is kind of tiny for the amount of roots that I have in here. Oh, brother, it doesn't want to come out. Oh, I think I need to tilt it over and remove some of the soil and then see what I have inside. So I'll do that over the trash. And yes, here we are. You can actually see the shape of that little gauge that measures the quantity in the reservoir. Curious if I actually have any dead roots. I'm not sure if I have all that many, but I think I do have a few. Let's try to remove them. Right, so I had to put on a mask because this soil is so dry, and I watered it like a few days ago. So these roots appear to be some of the older roots because they're very thin. And these ones do not look alive anymore, but we have these thicker roots. Do you see? They even have growing points. And on this side, we have more thicker roots. These, I think, were the oldest roots. And I'm not entirely sure they're all dead. Some are still alive. So I'm not gonna be very eager to cut everything, just stuff that I can tell is dead. There we go. I think we are good with what we have. Oh my gosh, so much dust. I had to open the windows. Hopefully it's not very noisy. So let me throw this out. I'll come back with the new pot. All right, so the new pot that I will use is again another self-watering pot, a Lechuza self-watering pot, which is a bit bigger than the previous one. It is the type that has cones that dip into the reservoir. So I have 2 cones here. This will be a place for the gauge. And yeah, I think it will fit just nice together with a pole. I'm gonna go directly for the tallest type of pole. I'm gonna give you a big kind of panoramic view at the end. I'm gonna go outside and mix the soil directly in and just fill this pot halfway, put the plant, and then prepare another batch of soil to top it off. All right, we're back, and I actually had an epiphany. So initially, I moved my filming gear and everything to film outside because all of that soil got kind of dry on my terrace in the bag, and obviously the perlite was dry as well, and it's not a good idea to inhale it. I wanted to go for the same type of mixture, soil and perlite 50-50, but try to have this mental image in your head. So I was on the terrace. It is literally 35 degrees Celsius outside right now. It is windy because I live on an island. It's always windy. It's default windy. I had my mask on, but still, all of that dust everywhere around me. I was choking. I was mixing an extreme amount of soil. And then it hit me. I have had enough of this. And some of you might know, when I have enough of something, then it's done. I'm done almost forever. And well, it just so happens this week, I did another setup with LECA. So it was out and I spotted it and I thought, well, what the heck, why not? Let's bring in the LECA. Now, many of you, I'm sure, think that me and LECA are newly acquaintances, but we're not. We go a long way back. And you didn't see LECA on my channel for many years. I'm sure you probably don't know that I do have quite a lot of experience with LECA, and I personally don't like it. It's not my favorite. My favorite is moss. But what if, in the case of Monsteras and philodendrons, we don't care about the disadvantages of LECA? By the way, if you're into this setup, I actually do have a video in which I give you some ideas of how to create self-watering pots in LECA. It's kind of fun. You don't need to necessarily buy Lechuza pots or things of the sorts. You can make it yourself. So check it down below to see my ideas from back then. It's kind of old. Quality isn't the same perhaps, but I hope you'll make it through. But yeah, let's just go for it. As I was saying, I'm a little anxious. I washed the roots of my Monstera. You're gonna see it because I don't want a whole lot of dirt inside this setup since I'm relying on the spaces created by the beads. So let's go. Let's try the setup once again for good old times. If it fails, I don't know. I'm gonna put it in moss. Okay, you guys, I totally forgot to put the rod or the stake in, so let's just do that really fast. Do I need to remove all of this LECA? I hope not. Sits, please. This rod is actually very tall. What I did was remove a couple of leaves, you don't see it, from the stem, just to be able to bury it a little more. These are the roots that were in sphagnum moss. I want to plant them as well because they will develop. So, sits, very nice. Look how pretty she looks. I bet she will be so happy to have a rod. Okay, here we go. Let's do this. I realized that on the microphone, LECA sounds horrifying, so I'm gonna mute the whole thing for you guys and just speed things up. Alrighty, and here she is. She will stay next to the Biorb. I will go to IKEA one of these days and buy one of those really pretty wooden chairs, which can definitely double as a little table because these are from the terrace. These are stuff I use on the terrace. I don't have anything else. And I really did want it to have a little bit more light. The stake extends upwards, yet again, this length. I cannot show you because I'm gonna show you the neighbor. I'm surrounded by neighbors. Sadly, I'm afraid for my life sometimes. I'm kidding. But yeah, literally 50 neighbors around me, so I cannot really film them. But you're just gonna have to trust me. So that's about it for today. About those brownie bits, to be fully honest, I don't really know from experience what creates them. I know what other people say, but I don't like to just propagate information. I like to just experience stuff on my own. So in my experience so far, the brownie bits only happened in 2 instances. Once, I didn't water in time and the plant got a little dehydrated. And 2, I had pests, so if they were munching on the white bits, that part would get brown. I can even show you a little bit on this side. Eventually this tiny browning here would grow more and more and more. So yeah, wherever I had pests, it also browned. There are all sorts of hypotheses that I am aware of, such as light being an issue. I did not experience that. Given the same light conditions, I didn't have browning going on all winter long, and now that it's summer and hot, I'm having some browning. So we might be dealing with a lot of respiration and dehydration here, coupled with the fact that that pot was a little too small to keep this plant hydrated. It would make, in my mind, more sense than light, but I don't know. I really don't know for sure. I will have to have more experience to tell you. But that's about it with my Monstera. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed watching me struggle and change my mind about how I want to grow this plant. And there is a really, really real chance that I will not like the LECA. And don't be surprised if at some point I change the setup. If I don't like it, I change it. I don't stick with stuff that don't satisfy me. And as far as LECA and orchids go, no, not for me. So alrighty guys, thank you so much for watching. If you want to follow me on social media, search for me. I'm at MissOrchidGirl pretty much everywhere. Check out my shorts channel for short form content, updates, snippets, all sorts of fun stuff. But most importantly, subscribe to this channel because this is where I post, I hope, the good stuff, the most important stuff, let's say. So that's it. I'll see you next time. Bye.